Hi guys, LordUg here, and welcome to my reaction talking channel, whatever it is. So as you can see, we're going to be doing Civilization, an epic rap by Dan Bull. Now I have seen this. I'm a big Dan Bull fan. I have seen most of his work. I dare say I've probably seen 95% of his work. I am a big fan of his. So, this was suggested to me recently. This was suggested to me when I reacted to the Overwatch rap that Dan Bull did, the 21 characters in Overwatch, and I didn't do it at the time because I didn't want it to kind of clog down my main channel too much. But now I've got this one, I'll do it. Now this is a long rap. It's like 5 minutes long, and I could talk a lot, as you can tell. So I could turn 5 minutes into an hour, easy. I'm not saying I will, but I can. So what I'm going to do is, this might have to even be in 2 parts, depending how many tangents I go on and what I turn it into, because I will be pausing it, and I will be talking and saying what I know, what I think, etc. So it could end up being a lot longer. If it is, I'll make it in 2 parts. But for now, let's get straight into it. Let me take it back to the start. This is an amazing rap. There's so much he says here. He speaks so much sense here. You could teach like school for just history for school just by playing this, and they'd understand more than they do learning it from books. Here we go. The editing and everything, the video is quality.
We learn to band together and endeavour, clasp our hands together. Man developed language, letters, an incredible advantage getting plans together. But would we stand the test of time against the planet's reckless climate and its angry weather? Spread the sails and head west again.
Can I just talk about this beat? This beat is amazing, right? It's this one part of this, I don't know why, but it's probably one of the best sounds I've heard for a rap song. It's about I'll tell you when we get there. But yeah, this is interesting. The Vikings, of course, they were a big part of history. So let's get on.
Against the planet's reckless climate and its angry weather. Spread the sails and head west against the gales and storms aboard Norse longboats with decks as dense as nails. Our aim was riding waves and finding, claiming strange horizons, invading islands, native population slain with violence, enslaved and made to aim skyward, think of bigger things. Sphinxes, pyramids, raise them high in the name of different kings.
Because of course the Egyptians were massive on slaves. I mean, they really had slaves for just everything there. So that's basically what it's on about here. It's just like slavery it was rampant everywhere. You know what I mean? Over through history, there's always been slavery. It's a terrible, terrible thing, but there's always been there. And it's whenever people perceive that they've got something over something, then I mean we still do it in ways. If you look at animals. When we use animals to do work for us, to make work easier for us, say they work, and they don't always get, treated well. So it's like, whether it's animals, whether it's people, whether it's whatever, we have to enslave something and put it to work. That's how we are as a people, and it's not good. Anyway, let's go back a little bit.
Aim skyward, think of bigger things. Sphinxes, pyramids, raise them high in the name of different kings. The different things we've held sacred, divine, through places and times. The range of supplications and rites through ages we find.
I love how his penmanship is. I mean, just look at the different things he says there. How he phrases it, and how all of a sudden he kind of talks it quite. He changes the way he talks it, but as if it all fits.
Sacred divine through places and times, the range of
supplications and rites through ages we find. I mean, it's amazing how he puts
nations and rise as old civilizations crumble to dust, becoming strangers in time, waiting to die. Replaced in the night, the day breaks in the light, changes illuminating newer human faces as fights rage. The human race is facing the might of righteous states who would write the history books, even if it took a
I love how he changes the flow a little bit there. The human race is facing the might of righteous states that would write the history books, even if it took, it's just like, even if it took a knife's blade to, it's really nice how he does that. And also, yeah, it's true. It's, because it says here, to find the right page. What it's basically saying is that the victors, or the ones on top, are the ones that write history. And history is usually written by the victors. And the victory usually comes from battle or fighting or whatever. I mean, if you look at most of history of battles or things like that, it's usually written by somebody who belongs to the victors. The victors get the right to write history. It's like that with everything, and we have to go by that narrative. I mean, when we look back in the past at things like in the Roman times or things like that, we have to kind of accept that is what happened, even though it will have been written by a Roman or something like that, who, so they'll say, oh, this battle happened like this. And as you know, every writer tends to embellish. That's what writers do. You can look at many stories and you can see that they might not be exactly as we know them, but we've got no proof that they weren't. So we have to accept it. And that's kind of what that's saying. It's like, the human race is facing the might of righteous state, of righteous... The human race is facing the might of righteous states who would write books even if it took knives. Yeah, so facing the state, yeah. But you see what I'm saying? So it's like we have to face these people and then they write the history books, even if it's at a knife's, with a knife's blade. Right page, saying God could you die for the honour of a warrior's life. The sun's coming and we're watching it rise. This part. Sorry, I was going over it. Just listen to this music here. This, for some reason, it hits my ears, and it's really, really pleasing. I just love how it goes from the sound it was to all of a sudden this kind of down, down, down kind of thing. You'll hear it. We'll go back twice. Here we go. Listen. Now. Listen to how his flows change now from what it were earlier, when it was just like you were just doing better supplications and all that, and history books to find the right page. Saying now it's just like it's a bit more comfortable flow to it. For the honour of a warrior's life, the sun's coming and we're watching it rise. There's a new era here, it's as solid as iron. Pull the tongs from the fire, strike the hammer to the anvil, craft the weapon to bring an enemy to a standstill. The blacksmith is the wizard that gives us these powers. I like how he, again, sorry, look, I told you we're going to pause a lot. I did tell you, but it's like how he put that. The blacksmith is the wizard that gives us these powers. Because if you think of the things that a blacksmith could build, the weapons like trebuchets and all this kind of thing that could deliver death from huge distances and destroy walls and lay things out and build great things that were basically machines of death, it made them look almost like wizards. Like, wow, look at what these people can create, and they create these things that give us the ability to do this destruction, to fight like we do. I love how it goes. And of course, you've got to remember, we're going through different eras here. So, of course, he said about iron. Here we are. It's as solid as iron, because we've come now to the Iron Age. So we're moving through time. And that's what it is, civilization. We're moving through civilization. There's a new era here. It's as solid as iron. The fire. Hammer to the anvil, craft a weapon to bring an enemy to a standstill. The blacksmith is the wizard that gives us these powers. Leave our enemies leaping down from the siege towers. The better the tech is, the lesser the effort to wreck it, the less time to see their eyes and feel sympathetic. See, that is, again, he didn't just a rap. This the words he's saying, you've got to listen. There is such truth in it, So the blacksmith is the wizard gives us these powers: devours enemies leaping down from the siege towers. The greater the tech is, the less of an effort to wreck it. And it's true. The more, when things are more technical, it means there's more moving parts. It's harder to do. So it's easier to mess it up. It's easier to stop it. If you think of like a trebuchet, there's a lot, there's just a few moving parts. You need wheels and that and cogs. And there are a few things like that to move the cup thing down. Then you put the stone in and just pull a lever and it launches it. And basically that's it. It's just X amount of parts. But if you look at things nowadays, when there's like many parts to it, little screws, rivets and many parts to a thing, it's easier to wreck one part and mess up the whole thing than it is something that was a lot more basic. And that's what he's saying here. The greater the tech is, it gets more confusing, so it's easier to wreck. Look at the computer. Many times when your computer goes down, you'll look at it and scratch your head and think, what the hell's happening? Because you don't always know. Because there's so many parts to it that it could be anything. And it takes a while to track down. And it just gets more complicated as time goes on, as the tech gets more complicated itself. And then, like you said, you've never got to look in a person's eyes either. And kind of, how did he put it exactly? The better the tech is. See, the less time to see their eyes and feel sympathetic. That's because as time goes on, we can kill people from a greater distance. You go back in medieval times, these kind of times. All right, you did have bows and arrows, but besides that, usually, and crossbows and spears, exactly, admittedly. But a lot of fighting were done like face to face, swords and things like that. Just clashing swords. And if you've got the upper hand and you see somebody, maybe, I'm not saying it happened a lot, but maybe in that split second, you and that person saw each other's eyes and realised you were scared. You were both as scared as each other. And neither of you gave the killing blow. Because you had that chance to see their eyes and they had that chance to see yours. Yeah, it's a wistful kind of thought, but it's still possible. It may have happened. But nowadays it doesn't matter. You can kill people from like a huge distance away. With missiles we have, you don't even... you can kill people in another country without ever leaving without having to go anywhere. You don't have to see a person's eyes now. There is no sympathy because it's all numbers. We don't attack. We don't just kill the leaders, but the populace gets killed as well. They suffer as well. In a war, civilians die, but the people who killed them, they don't care because they're just numbers and they can't see their eyes. They can't feel no sympathy. It's just death. All it matters is that they win, and then we go back to what right at the start of this, that they win and they get the ones to be the victors, so they get to write history. And that's how it works. It's got such a beautiful way of penning something, but would forever lay in blue rays of weathered glades. It's like his... you know what I mean? It's like there's a beauty. It's not just a rap. There's a beauty in way Dan Bull writes things. It's phrased in such a way that it conjures up so many thoughts and feelings. He's such a talent. And it's a shame because a lot of people just say, Dan Bull does game raps and things like that. And yeah, he does some funny things as well. And that. But he is, at the same time, a truly talented writer and rapper. Truly talented. I've seen some YouTube rappers who are actually really good, who have watched Dan Bull stuff and said, this guy's really good. And these are like people who are like proper YouTube. I know the YouTube rappers, but don't let that put you off. They can still do albums and everything. They can do really amazing things. Just because they're not mainstream spotlight like Eminem and all them doesn't mean that they haven't got talent. They've got massive talent. And some of them think Dan Bowles is a really good rapper. So I wish he'd got more. I wish he'd get more kind of recognition for his skill as a writer and a rapper than he does.
Blade never says touche, but would forever lay in Blu-rays of weathered glades to demonstrate his never-ending dedication to the crusade, reformation through flame, and after the cremation is a new age. Time's quill is quick to spill it.
Oh, come on, look at that. Time's quill is quick to spill its ink onto a new page. That's basically saying there that time moves on, always moves on, and here comes another era. That's what it's saying. We're going to move on to a new page. The page that was the Iron Age, that's done now. We're going to move on. Time's quill. It's time to turn the page, and it's going to write on a new page, and we get a new age that's going to start up. It conjures up such visions with the way he writes. I'll always be a fan of this guy. It's amazing.
Through flame, and after the cremation is a new age. Time's quill is quick to spill its ink onto a new page. The faces are the same as when in days gone, but brains are cultivated, thus creating the Renaissance. We're still using steel tools to stay strong, replacing blades with greater trades, pen and paper song. Faith in God is tested, hiding in the desert. Men excited, then enlightened by the scientific method.
See, that was, again, really, really true. As science took over, belief in religion took a massive knock, of course, because all of a sudden things were being explained. Things that were classed as miracles or things that couldn't be explained to do with religion. Suddenly science was saying, well, if this happens and this happens, then you get that reaction. Or if this happens and this happens, then that will happen. So it's like science came along and basically took religion and just said, well, we'll just explain everything what religion is and try and destroy it at the same time. Whether that was a challenge that it aimed for to try and destroy religion, and I'm not saying they'll ever destroy it properly, but science explained a lot and made a lot of people turn away, because religion is built on faith. If let's say religion existed, I'm not going to explain where my religion is and that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into that. But let's say religion existed. If Jesus came down, or God spoke, or something that was a miracle and easy to see as a miracle that science couldn't explain happened, then people would believe in religion massively. But the problem is with religion, it's all built on faith. It's built on, you've got to just believe that this is true. And you'll not know unless you die. And then, of course, you can't tell people if it's true because you're dead. So it's a case of you've got to believe until you die, and then only then will you know if it were real. You know what I mean? So that it's a lot to ask for people to believe that much, that solidly, that long. So when science came along and said, well, we can explain this, this, it made people feel like, well, I'm justified not to believe. I'm justified not to believe in heaven and God and all that, because science is explaining it. So therefore, it's easier not to believe it now. So that's kind of what this is.
God is tested, hiding in the desert. Men excited, then enlightened by the scientific method. Try describing its expression by inscribing his impression. When applying it to heavenly bodies that everybody reckon must have been made by a creative or a greater force. Nature's author-based examination never faced before. The grace of...
See, again, I'm sorry. But it's like what it was saying there about like heavenly bodies, like stars and that. People assumed that this must have been made by a creator like God. That he put the stars in the sky and created the world and people and everything. But then science came along and they said, no, these are just stars, and there's planets out there. There's black holes, there's galaxies, there's this and that. And, there's a universe that's expanding. then we can take time back to an event called the Big Bang that happened 13.8 billion years ago. And from there, in like a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of a second, something the size of a pinhead exploded, and we had the universe start to form as we know it in like quicker than you could, in a million times quicker than a blink. There was something the size of a pinhead that suddenly exploded, and we had the universe, and it's been stretching away ever since. And we explained this. Well, science explained this. Where if you look at Einstein, with E equals mc squared, that's where we get the knowledge that we've got light speed, and you can't go past light speed, etc. Of course, there were other things about gravity and all that, apple falling, many different events that went off that science explained. But it also proved that all these things in the sky were not created by a greater force. They were actually, unless you believe he created the Big Bang, I don't know. But the point is, science explained a lot. See, that is an incredibly good point. Why is it progress always leads to loads of mess? And it does. We move forward, but we don't know what we move into. And then when we move into it, then we just try and struggle through it to try and get it under control. We never plan anything. It's like we move forward, we evolve, but we evolve in the most messy ways possible. We don't look at where we're going. It's like we're running into a forest with our eyes closed, and then at some point we just open our eyes. We have no idea where we are or how to get out, so we just say, okay, well, we'll just walk around till we find something. That's how kind of we progress as humans. We tend to evolve into something new, and it's always messy. We progress into something, we find something, a new science, a new element, a new this or new that, and we have to work out ways to mess it up first before we find ways to make it work. It always seems like we get things wrong before we get them right. So, yeah, that's a very, very true statement.
Laws of science made the case for all the pious. Why is it progress always leads to loads of mess? The western regions spread across the globe and coalesce. Settlers spread disease with effortless ease. Was it reckless, or did it just happen inevitably?
Yeah, that was true as well, because settlers from other countries had moved to a place, and of course with that they brought their own illnesses and diseases with them, and there were illnesses and diseases that some of these countries that they kind of moved to didn't have. So all of a sudden these places then had to cope with a disease that wasn't even meant to be there. It wasn't even meant to be part of their country, because they didn't have it. But all of a sudden settlers came and just spread these diseases around that and they killed many because people just didn't know how to deal with them.
Well, evidently we never can see through the lens of this century, but there's no retreating now, whether or not it was meant to be. The seven seas were sailed, navies prevailed, leaving trails of devastation in the wake as people wailed. A world of wonder, plunder, trading in the name of progress, but human nature's way shows we should expect no less. Oh yes, struck by the realization this is just civilization in the natal stages of industrialization.
It told you where we are now. We're in the industrial era. So this is where you get your, as you can see, this is where they start to spew all crap into the planet that's going into the sky that's going to destroy your ozone and everything. And also you've got your trains, your steam trains start here, and things like that.
Realization, this is just civilization in the natal stages of industrialization. Trust me when I say that previous achievements are just child's play compared to this colossal school of thought. We set the world ablaze with fossil fuel we bought. It's an epiphany, giving us pretty much infinite.
Yeah, that's that. It's kind of come back now. But yeah, giving us infinite energy, electricity, is right. I mean, he's right what he says. Industrialization, kind of everything moves so much quicker after that because it gave us so much. in both travel and in the ways we could look into things and experiment with things and build on things. Electricity was such a massive thing to us and opened up so many doors that had never been opened before. But all this kind of thing, all this kind of function that was around then, back then, when this era came in, it really opened up everything. It was like we jumped from like second gear to fifth in one go. It's like, well, all of a sudden we seemed to have so much that we could do that, you know, I suppose you could say we're still in it to some extent. If you're wondering why these people are panicking, it's because this is supposed to be the first time anybody saw a film. So a movie kind of thing, or moving pictures kind of thing. So when they saw the train coming, in their mind, the train was coming. They thought the train was going to run over them. Some people did, and actually started to run and dive for cover, even though it's just on a screen. But they couldn't get it. It's kind of along that line where the Indians used to feel if you took their picture, you captured their soul, even though really it was just a picture, you know, and it was just a likeness of them, but they believed it took their soul. This is the same kind of thing. It's like they saw it on a screen and their minds could not, you know, understand it was just on a screen. They really believed they were coming. This is why these are panicking. Just in case you didn't know. See, machinery is a meaner beast and we're still in the saddle. Basically still saying, we're not ready. We're not evolved enough to cope with what we've got. And we aren't. We still don't understand how to use the things we have. We understand how to create things of destruction and how to work out ways to kill each other. But when it comes to working out really good ways to use something that benefits the planet, we don't know. We're not evolved enough. We're evolved enough to work out how to kill. We're just not evolved enough to work out how to cure. Not properly. That bit, I'm just pausing because that was just a great line. Sorry. I know I've kept saying how many great lines he's got, but that were a great line. Charging each other like batteries, of course. Some batteries are rechargeable, so, you know, you can recharge each other. You can recharge them, and at the same time charging into each other. You know, the war and the charging into each other. So the charging each other. It's nice little wordplay that. But he's done that a lot on this. I could have, believe me, I could have stopped this more than I have. I've actually managed to hold myself back. Believe it or not. Charging each other like batteries, a power vacuum allowing the super states to flourish. We distribute the food even if it means people are malnourished. Yeah, again, if they empower, they decide how everything's distributed, and they control it all. Even if the people, you know, look at some of these countries where they've got a dictatorship where the leader is sitting in a palace with gold taps and gold this and gold plates and everything, but the people on the streets are digging through trash to try and find some food. You know, this is what he's saying. You know, they distribute the food and the wealth and everything in their favour, and of course, but the populace suffer. Propaganda is the only view that you're allowed to publish. Yep, that's just, again, propaganda means you're printing stuff that is good for your army, for your kind of point of view. Even if it means people are malnourished, propaganda is the only view that you're allowed to publish, because totalitarians are well aware of how to punish, gunning down numbers countless for doubtless nothings that they've done, but that won't stop subversive insurgents from coming out with courage, using their power to the fullest, whether creativity or demonstrating general relativity. Evidently when we find time to... See, this is what I was saying, we've got Einstein with E equals mc squared. And this is, like I said, this opened door to so many things. It's just a few letters written, but it actually meant, you know, kind of branched out to so much. There you go. Yep. You know, so basically the use of such destructive forces like the bomb comes down to politicians and things like that, really, to decide these things. I mean, you think about it, it's not like if you look at America, they're politicians that are in charge of that power. Like here in UK, it's politicians that are in charge. You know, they hijack this power to be able to use on each other or, you know, on whoever they want, because they have that power now and they took it. There's that flow again. As well, they listen to the will of the people. It's like that. It's just like this. Where it just gets very choppy all of a sudden. I love it. I love his flow through this. Throughout, it's been perfect. There's nothing you can go down on with this. It's an amazing, amazing journey through the eras. The will of the people. Oh, well, I think we'll get Dumbo Duggleby. Incredible. There's not much to say. Incredible. That is truly incredible. How he filled so much information into a rap of 5 minutes long. And it teaches so much. And his rap's incredible. His flow's amazing. The music isn't that down. I'm not going through it again. Well, the music, the beat and everything is amazing. It's just... this is one of my favourite raps on YouTube, this one. You can tell. I'm just going crazy about it. But it is. It's amazing. But the last part where it says about please explore space. Well, of course we do. But he's saying that leave Earth. Go somewhere new. We're kind of messing Earth up. And it's true we are. It's not going to last forever. The only other place we can go is Mars, right? Now, unless we learn something like light speed, then we can't really go anywhere else, because the universe is moving away from us at a very fast rate, which means everything is moving away from us. In future, far into future, there'll only be a few planets, the planets, and a couple of stars here and there left in the sky. All the rest of the sky will be black. One day that will happen. The sky will just be black, because all the stars will have moved away from us so far that we can't see them anymore, because the universe is moving away. So really, the only place we have is Mars. That's the only place that's closest to what we... I mean, if we could do speed of light now, yeah, there are other places we can go. We'd be able to go and populate, but, you know, as things are, by the time we learn that kind of thing to get necessarily that kind of speed up, we're going to be, it's going to be too late. So Mars is really all we've got. And, we could do lessening the pressure we put on this planet, because we are messing it and it's just getting bigger. We're increasing in numbers. We're not leveling it out. You know, it's like as time goes on, the billions that we are just increasing, and there's going to be times where we're in the 2-figure billions. You know what I mean? It's going to go into, I think there's about 8 billion right now, something like that, people on the planet, and it's going to be in double figures soon and keep going. And it's mad. So yeah, we could do we're getting off Earth and lessening the impact that we have on it. I mean, look how this pandemic is. Since we've been doing lockdowns, you're getting dolphins in Venice, and all sorts of we're getting all sorts of animals coming out of the wild and that we have never seen in years because they were all scared of humans, or they were staying away from the mess humans were making. But now things have repaired. Earth's been repairing itself a little bit during this pandemic, and animals have started to appear again. This is how the world is. It can cure itself, but not while we're here hurting it. And that's the problem. And we won't stop hurting it, and that's the problem. So, anyway, I've just gone on too long, and this has probably turned into about a 40-50-minute video. I'm sorry. But this rap puts a lot of thoughts in my head, and I just get talking. So I'm going to stop there, because I will keep going, and this will go a long time. But anyway, if you've watched this and you've come through to this part especially, then you are amazing. Yes, you are. And if you've got anything else you want me to react to, then either put it in the comments or send me an email to asklordug@gmail.com. And I will see what I can do. But for now, you take good care, and goodbye for now, my friends.